Hello and welcome to Impact Africa, our online program where we get to have conversations with diverse people and organizations who are impacting lives and communities positively. And in addition, we use the platform to celebrate events, people, and places. Yes, I am Dr. Kemi Akiode Adebayo, known as Dr. Mama K. And in today's program, we've got the compassionate, beautiful, as we go on and on, Marlene Whitehead. She's the program manager, I need to get it right, of Hope Cape Town, which is based in Delft, Cape Town. Marlene, how are you?
I'm well.
You're compassionate, you're beautiful, I could always tell. And it's been a long road, I know, trying to have this conversation. Yeah. So I can't wait to hear the story of Hope Cape Town and even find out more a little bit about you yourself. So tell us who you are. Who is Marlene? Where did you grow up? Life growing up, whatever you want to share, basically.
Thank you, Mama Kay. It's great to be here with you today. I'm Marlene, an ordinary girl from an ordinary family, a working class family. I was an only child and grew up in Cape Town, in Sea Point. And I think I went to school at a convent. And I
really? I would have known that. Okay. Yeah. I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad way. Before people start thinking, huh? What is going on? So was that in Cape Town?
Yeah, in Sea Point.
In Sea Point.
And I think that's where the little thoughts from the nuns inspired me in terms of social responsibility.
Exactly.
Social conscience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, I should have known that. It now makes more sense. So that's where it comes, because yes, we were talking about the fact that you work sometimes 8 till 9, 10. That goes beyond, work duties. That's just you taking your life, and it's all about what you're doing and what your work is. So where did you study? An only child. How was that for you? Because I come from a family of, I'm the eldest with 12, I think. Yeah, and I'm the 13th. How does that work?
Wow.
How did you grow up being an only child?
I envied people like
really?
you.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
chaos.
No.
Chaos.
Being an only child is being a lonely child. For me, it was. I was very introspective, very introverted, and spent a lot of time on my own with my thoughts. And to a certain degree, you become a little bit selfish as well over the years with your time and so on. But yes, I do spend a lot of time in the work that I do. And for me, it's not work. It is, I do what I love, and I love what I do.
I call it a calling.
It's a calling. It's a vocation. Yes. You agree to do this, and it's what you need to do in life. Yeah.
Let's go back to now. So born in Cape Town, obviously, you said. What are you mostly proud of as a South African?
That we've come this far.
Okay.
I was a child in the 50s and 60s, 1950s and 60s, and South Africa was very different then. And I'm so proud of us that we managed to transition into the democracy. Yes, there's still a lot of pain, and it's one of those things that we have to deal with, and I think that there's still a lot of conscientizing that needs to be done. People don't always understand South Africa, the situation in South Africa, especially people from other countries beyond the pond.
I love the way you went beyond the pond. So now let me go into before Hope. What job were you doing before Hope?
So I've been working in the non-profit sector for over 40 years.
Wow. I salute. I bow down. Yeah, it's not easy, you guys. Non-profit sector. Oh, you need to. It's a calling, basically, and it's about you just being about people and serving humanity. At the end of the day, and it makes sense now that you attended a You went to a convent school.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were in the prophet. What area? Is it similar to what you're doing now?
So I started off in faith-based organizations, and I worked with some really important internationally known people.
Ah, okay.
I started off, I did all kinds of administrative work, financial work, fundraising,
Wow.
and then went into implementation, program implementation. And that's where my heart is, because that's where you are working with the people that you're serving, and you're able to see the benefits.
And I think that's important. I know I read, because I did a little bit of digging, I always do that, the fact that you've, over the years, apart from it being over 40 years being in the non-profit, you've managed over 900, community projects. Kudos to you. I salute you.
Thank you.
Really, really well done. So let's now come to Hope. Hope Cape Town, when was it started? Why? And what's the, journey? What has the journey been so far? Because I know you've been part of it since, when did you join Hope?
No, I'm in my 8th year now.
8th year. No, only, that's a long time still. So, so how's the journey been?
So, Hope Cape Town, I always call it a love story.
Okay, let's share, please.
For me, it really is a love story. So the founder of Hope Cape Town is a Catholic priest from Germany. And he was seconded here to be the chaplain for the German-speaking Catholic community. And he had to start something completely new. And one of the main things in 2001 was still the fact that the South African public health system did not provide antiretroviral treatment for children, HIV positive children. And so that's what he did. He set about working at Tygerberg Hospital with a number of professors who also then became members of the board of Hope Cape Town Trust. And Hope Cape Town was the very first NPO in South Africa to have its own ward in Tygerberg Hospital. It was called the Itemba ward, which obviously also means hope. And so treatment began for the children. The mothers were leaving their children, abandoning them because they couldn't deal with their HIV themselves.
It's okay. We're in the facility, which is called Next.
Yes.
So we've got the youth program, and it's Youth Month as well. So don't worry about the noise. It's fine. Keep going.
The children are going to be doing a puppet show soon.
Oh, okay, they're practicing.
They're practicing, yes. So there were only so much funds available, and it was, according to Father Stefan Hippler, who is the founder, according to him, it was a situation where he had to almost play God. Which children were going to get the antiretroviral treatment and live and thrive, hopefully, and which children were beyond that and were going to die by not receiving the treatment. So it was a tragic time in the life of South Africa. I mean, in the life of the world, but in South Africa, in this little point of South Africa specifically. And then in 2006, when antiretroviral treatment did become available in the public health system, the patients were handed over to the Department of Health. But we remained, as Hope Cape Town, we remained in the system. Because once the children are well, in terms of able to be on treatment and be quite healthy on treatment, they would need to have a continuum of care.
Right.
And so what we did was provide that in the community clinics and also in the Itemba ward if the children came back for checkups or they had any kind of health issues again.
Right. So that's interesting. The journey, you know, there that you've shared, even though you only started eight years ago. What are some of your success stories? You know, I know there are various services. You've now grown beyond that initial, you know, HIV, you know, service. So what are the other services you're providing, and what are some of the success stories?
I think probably one of the best success stories is the fact that those children who were given the opportunity of antiretrovirals are now successful adults and healthy adults.
Wow.
And
do they come back here?
They do.
Wow.
They do
awesome.
visit us occasionally, especially when they go to Tygerberg Hospital for outpatients and things like that. So they do definitely. Wow. From 2009, Hope Cape Town then started a small community outreach project in Blikkiesdorp, which was established in 2007, I think.
That's where I first saw you guys.
Yeah, and it's a container village. There are 7 containers. We have social worker, we have a social auxiliary worker, and we have a number of employees who are actually from the community of Blikkiesdorp. And there we do play groups, we prepare children for school. We have soup kitchens. During COVID, we were providing approximately 600 to 1,200 meals per day.
No, it was tough. It was
per day, 3 meals a day mostly for people. And and we have a lot of visitors who come there who want to do projects as well. So there are health projects, there are projects for youth at risk, and then our social worker, you know, a lot of people who live in under-resourced areas, they do not have access to the Department of Home Affairs and Department of Social Development, etc. So we assist them with getting all the documents that they require. If they need to get their children enrolled at schools, so we assist with all those kinds of help. Yeah.
So you've basically grown, you know, from that one service through the. Is the father still alive? Is it still alive?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Most definitely.
Sorry, I don't mean it in that way. I just need to make sure. So you must be really proud of that small seed, you know, of him coming here for a program and seeing what it has ballooned into.
He is a very charismatic person. He is also a very, very humble person. And he has worked so hard to keep Hope Cape Town afloat. What you see here is,
which is beautiful,
is the culmination of a dream that he's had since 2014. And that was to build a home for Hope Cape Town. So it's become our headquarters of the organization. It's become an education center. It's an early childhood development center for neurodiverse children. We have this wonderful youth center available to children and young people. We have a registered clinic, holistic health center.
Okay,
yes.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah, and we've just bought a piece of land to the north, 10,000 square meters, where we have started fencing it off. We've put on the boreholes, and we're going to turn that into a community garden and an environmental training center. And we're going to focus on aquaponics and hydroponics. We're going to upskill young people to be able to take care of that and to establish their own food projects.
Wow, because food security is a big thing,
big
especially in Delft, where
Huge.
you are strategically situated, which is close to the likes of Kailicia, Philippi, and for me, you know, my people in Delft know it's like second home. No, I have a lot of fourth home, fifth home. I don't know what in what order. So you know, whereby it's got that mixed diversity, you know, in terms of what Cape Town should be. Because you go to certain suburbs, is the blacks only. You go to certain suburb, is the white only majority. But when you're in Delft, it's a mix of what South Africa, I believe, is about. So, you know what? We'll be right back. Wow, I just love your story so far and you sharing it. You're an only child and obviously born in, you know, in Sea Point. Was a Sea Point, yeah? And went to a convent school, which was the background and the foundation of why you've been in the non-profit sector for over 40 years. And 8 years ago, you joined Hope Cape Town, which was founded by Father Stephen Hippler, I need to get it right, who was sent on secondment. Don't mind me, Father. Forgive me for my sins. I was thinking the what I heard about Father was like, yeah, old people, but he was a young guy, you know, when he was sent here on secondment, and obviously him seeing and still being involved, you know, even up till now, and seeing the dream of this massive building and what you said about even the plans, you know, to develop it further. I was just really so amazed, you know, with the gym, the outdoor gym there. So it's like I come in here each time I've come, there's something new, something useful, something practical, you know, for the people of Delft. We salute you. Thank you, you know, for all you guys are doing, yourself and your team with the CEO and everyone else. And the volunteers, because I met a volunteer before I came in as well. So kudos to you all for all you're doing. Now, let me go back now to Marlene. What keeps you going? What motivates you? Why do you do what you're doing? And as well, what are the 3 things that you value most in life?
Wow.
3. I know it's a lot in there.
Yeah. So what motivates me is seeing the seeds actually germinate, seeing a child coming here with a variety of challenges, and getting a smile and hearing the laughter after a short while. It's very humbling to be in a position like this where people trust you. And I really, I'm always gobsmacked by the fact that I'm a stranger really here, and yet the people in the community trust me so much. To the point where, as we spoke about earlier, that I'm here sometimes until 10 o'clock at night or past midnight. Sometimes people will phone me at 8 o'clock and they'll say, I see your car outside, are you still at the office? And I say, yes, I am. Come to the gate. And then I go to the gate and somebody actually has some food for me. Really?
I can relate to that.
You know, during the time, it's overwhelming. During the time that we had so many power cuts, at that time we were not 100% off the grid. We are now.
Oh, really?
The next is 100% off the grid.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So there's no excuse that you can't work, you see.
I love that.
But people would come to us and bring us a flask of hot water so that we could have our coffee, you know, or say, have you got your food? Give it to us, we'll take it and warm it in our microwave. I mean, You have no idea what the generosity is in Delft. And people talk about the crime, they talk about the poverty, and yet people share so much here. I'm the poor person, they're the rich people. So yeah,
I can relate.
It's
I'm shaking my head,
overwhelming.
And that's why I always say, anything in Delft for me, although I started in Kalisha, sorry my Kalisha peeps, I still love you lots. If I get into trouble. However, for me, Delft is just something else, positive, even though there's a lot of negative. And I'm glad you're sharing it, because when I share that to others as well, they go, and when they hear you're in Delft, they go, huh? There's a lot of shit in there. There's but people look out for me. Just basically what you're saying. I get phone call or messages. Don't come into the area now. They've closed the road, or don't pass there. And like you say, I'm in a rush, and I'm like stopping at Whitehead, is one of our directors, and she's still like, have you eaten? Okay, now I'm going to get you something. She brings something to the car because I know you don't eat. No, and even gives John as well, who loves food, by the way. So it's always that, because I'm a workaholic. I keep going. I even forget, I haven't eaten.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, let me come, and she goes inside. Whatever she has, she shares.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the story. And it's about the positive story. And I'm glad you've shared that story, that they look out for you, they call you. And that's what it should be with us as human beings, at the end of the day. So, what do you value? Because me and you, I can see we talk a lot. So, and I'll get into trouble because we're going to overrun. So, what are the three things, for you? I know you've shared what motivates you and keeps you going. And so what is three things? I know you could have more, but just, I'm always interested to find out.
So, as you can see, I am way beyond retirement age.
Join the club.
And yet, I'm still here. And I appreciate that so much, that I'm still wanted or needed in a way. And I value every day. Every day for me, I come here early in the morning and I look in my office, I open up this blind, view, by the way. And beyond this tree is the most exquisite sunrise. And I'm here late in the evening, and over there is the most beautiful sunset. And I know every evening when I walk out and I lock the buildings and make sure everything is safe, I look at the sunset and I think, please God, let me see the sunrise tomorrow.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. I love that. That's deep.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll come back for more.
Kapstadt ist entstanden aus der Not von Menschen heraus. Menschen, die im Prinzip durch Armut und durch Krankheit keine Chance im Leben hatten. Und was wir tun, ist, dass wir medizinisch, sozial, einfach auf den Menschen holistisch, ganzheitlich schauen und versuchen, ihm zu helfen oder ihr zu helfen, das Beste aus ihrem Leben zu machen. Der Person, dem Kind eine Chance zu geben, wirklich ein Leben in Fülle zu haben.
So there are a lot of challenges working in an environment such as pediatric HIV, because inherently it's a difficult circumstance. And to still be getting children who are HIV positive in 2019 is quite sad, if not shocking.
When the doctor comes to hope and telling me that there's no hope for the child anymore and that they're not sure if the child will make it. So how do I give the news over to the mother? That is my biggest challenge.
Every time I see somebody who's still being diagnosed with HIV, it makes me realize that our job is not done and that there's still so much more work that we need to do and so much more that we need to put in the society, in the communities in which we're working in order to get to a point in which we no longer have young children or young babies being diagnosed with HIV.
I think the centre here, this outreach centre, brings so much hope to a lot of the people here, even if you can't give them the ideal situation afterwards.
In Blackistor, my 2 daughters was murdered. I thank Hope for supporting me. I was accepted here. They hug me. This is so important for people to hug you, to know they care, to know you are such as a family.
So my hope is for that, to give all of them a better future with regards to their living circumstances. And then to see each child in this community in school.
You can dream big. There is hope. And you must go out there and tell others and motivate others and also be positive about yourself and take your circumstances as your biggest challenge and achieve your goals.
So, yeah, I mean, what motivates you, that smile you described from the little children, the gesture, the sharing from and compassion from the people, you know, in Delft, and ignoring, you know, all the negatives, you know, and for me as well, closing with that sunset, sunrise, which we spoke a little bit about during the break. You've dropped that in me, and I'm hoping, you know, I can take that away. And I really don't want to talk about it because I know I might go a bit, you know, weepy and cry for anything. My children make fun of me. so yeah, even though you're happy to be very tough, but you're deep down, those tears. I'm watching a movie and they're dying, and I know it's a movie. I'm crying. I'm really crying. But anyway. So yeah, it's deep, and you know, thank you, you know, for just sharing that, you know, the way that lady dropped that in your spirit. I'm hoping I'll take that away, you know, today. When we do this, a lot of people think it's about hearing the story, but I have a lot as well that I pick up, you know, I'm hoping to take away, and even the people watching. So now let me go on to my next question. Yeah, what does success mean to you?
What is?
Success, being successful. And as a leader, what does leadership mean to you? Because you're a leader, even though you have other people before you, but then you lead, you know, people. What are the personality, the qualities that one needs to have to be a leader?
So, I consider myself a servant leader. I lead from the back. I'm not a person who likes to be in the front, and I like being in the background because it also gives me a chance to observe people when they are their authentic selves. And it provides me with that space and that time, no matter how short it is, to be reflective and to sometimes analyze a situation. I think you have to be a very good listener. Listening skills are really important as a leader, and I think you have to be very objective, which is not always easy. Most of us tend to be judgmental in specific areas, which may be quite small areas, and we don't even see it or feel it. But it's something that I think for me personally, I have to work at all the time. And critical thinking skills are really important too. And I think one has to have a vision and a goal at all times, and one has to revisit that frequently, because things change. Our country is changing right now at this very moment, and we have to shift, we have to readjust. This government of national unity, how do we understand it? How do we work with it? How do we receive it? And you know, there's a very hazy blueprint out there, and what contribution are we going to make as leaders, whether we are leading just in our families or whether we're leading in a small space of at the office, or whether we're larger leaders. How do we navigate life on a daily basis and adjust to the changes all the time? I listen and I read so much about this Gen Z thing. And I'm trying to understand that all the time, because I see young people and I can't figure out where they're coming from and what angle they're getting at. And at the same time, I'm learning so much from them. I really am. And I think as an older generation or a generation of elders, we have so much to teach and so much to give and so much to share. But we have so much to learn and so much to take from a younger generation. And unless we work intergenerationally, we're not going to move forward. So that for me, in terms of leadership, we really need to listen to young people. We need to see what they're doing. We need to understand where they're going.
Wow, that's all so deep. Well, you know what? Time for a quick break. We'll be right back. Wow, Marlene, I know we've probably gone over time with all the questions, but that's okay, because, you know, we even probably need a part 2, you know, of this, because we'll want to meet, you know, some of the clients, you know, and the people, the people beneficiaries, you know, and some of yourself, just to see and to go around for you to show us around. So can we come round for a tour?
Anytime.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I've still got a few more questions before I release you. But thank you for sharing, you know, that about leadership, all very insightful. Now I want to ask you about something, you know, and I know you said a little bit about that before we went on the break, about the fact that what life lessons for you and you were talking about the Gen Z and the seniors or elderly. I know we get different names. I don't even know what names to call our group now. And I'm embracing it. I'm actually really embracing it. I used to challenge it before to say, no, I'm young, but now I'm like, no, I am mama. I am senior. I am this, because
bring it on.
You know, no, man, is a blessing. You know, that's the other side for me. For me, that it is a blessing. You know, that we've attained, you know, such an age. Some of us, not out of doing anything wrong, are not here today. The sunset is gone. You know, so for you, what are some of the key life lessons of growing up that you go, you know, that 7-year-old, if somebody was 10 years old or 18 years old, to say, you know, or maybe you could have done things differently, maybe not, but what are some of the key lessons, you know, for you over the years, you know, of walking this journey, you know, that you've been doing?
I think the word I would like to use is intention. So in my life experience, the challenging times and the disappointments came at a time when I had done something or made a choice for the wrong intention. And I think that that's something that we really need to consider when we need to make important choices in life, but also everyday choices. My daughter is one of those real happy people, and she says happiness is a choice.
I agree.
And she says you wake up in the morning and you choose whether you want to be happy or not.
Yep.
And I think that's it, you know. Take responsibility for the choices that you make. Think about the intention why you want to do something. If you're doing it for a good intention, then it's probably the right thing to do and the good thing to do. That's what I would say. That's it.
And I completely agree with your daughter.
Yeah.
My sister, one of my sisters, I told you I'm from 13. I'm the first. It's not easy being the oldest, but I'm so humble. I listen to them. But one of them normally just stressed that all the time, that, you know, happiness is a choice. We wake up in the morning, and I agree, you know, with all the key deep life lessons you've shared there. So my final question now is, let's go back now to work, to Hope Cape Town.
Yeah.
Because for us, you know, we want to know about you, your work, and other things, because we're hoping other people are learning, and especially the young people and the women, you know, who we work with are learning, you know, from it. So Hope Cape Town works, you know, to empower and improve the quality of life for children, youth, seniors, educationally, health-wise, and a lot of that. So obviously you're already addressing a lot of social issues, you know, for South Africa and even Africa as a continent. For you personally now, what social issue, you know, would you want something to be done about that's not being done, you know, out with what you're doing? I know, so you need to think. But not just that social issue, what are the practical solutions, you know, for that issue, even though you might not be the one, it might be totally different from what you're doing now, you know, but you might not be the one to come up, you know, with a solution. So that's my final deep question.
Wow. That's a big buy. So, you know, we often talk about the cycle of hope, or the cycle of life, and we provide services from pregnancy right through until death. And I feel that taking a child, a young child, and bringing them to the next, which is this campus, even if we provide all of the services that that child could receive, it's never going to change the life of the child, because that child has to go back home. So the child comes here for a couple of hours a day and then goes back home for the rest of the 20 odd hours, where the example and the patience and the transfer of knowledge is not maybe what it should be. Not because of bad parenting, but because parents and people here, adults here, have so many challenges themselves. They're so wrapped up in the problems that they have to endure. The trauma has been going on from when they were children, and maybe even before birth. And how do we address that?
Right.
How do we address that? That for me is something that we need to find solutions. I always say that we don't find solutions for the community. We are enablers as Hope Cape Town. So we enable the communities to find solutions to their own challenges. But how do we assist people to move forward? And we have to walk that journey. It's a long journey, and we have to walk that journey with the people. We have to be consistent. They have to be consistent. Together, we have to hold hands, and we have to pull each other up when the climb gets steeper. And I think we need to affirm people a whole lot more. I think it's a matter of saying, job well done, small steps, but really affirm people that you know, you're moving in the direction. Together we can do this.
Thank you. That was a good way of bringing the issue and then saying more solutions and what needs to be done. And I completely, agree with you in terms of the journey, being, enabling communities rather than being, giving them the solution, and to affirm people. And I think that's one thing, that needs to happen more, I believe. And I could go on and on and on and on, but I know we've run out of time now. And wow, it's been so humbling, you sharing the story of yourself, and as well intertwined with Hope Cape Town, which we're in, and at the next facility, which is just awesome. I can't wait to see the growth, all those plans of, what do they call it now? The new aquaponics. No, I was going to say aquaponics.
Yes.
Aquaponics.
It is a community garden and an environmental training center. So we're going to also do upcycling and our own composting, and really training young people to be the drivers of their own nutrition.
You're going to be saying more of me. Let me just warn you now, because those are things for me personally that we've seen the gaps and the need, and we've always been saying, speaking to the local councillors here, speaking to some of the residents, that this needs to happen. But like you said, you're not the one saying they need this, but it's you're going to enable them to be able to do that for themselves and take ownership, of it.
Absolutely.
And that is so good. We salute you, Madam Marlene Whitehead, for what you're doing, and we wish you all the best. You cannot retire. You are still very much able. And once one retires, trust me, it's like, especially for somebody that has walked through you can slow the pace.
Yeah.
But, I've learned from a lot of people that founder of M-Chem, bless him, Mr. M, I love him to bits, and, he still goes back into that plan. Is 90 or close to 90 or something now, and he's still at work every day. He doesn't do anything but sits there. So he inspires me. He's my mentor. I told him when I had the chat with him. So I'm telling you too now, you cannot go and sit there. Yeah, you can reduce the number of hours you work and not work till 10. You're telling me to. I'm telling you as well. Not work till that late. Not do all nighter. But, sleep more. Yeah, what's that? Sleep. So I salute you, my dear friend and sister. And we have a small talkie, for you. Just to
Oh, my word.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we love you. We see you. Because sometimes what you said about, the affirming people.
Yeah.
We're affirming the work you're doing. I know you probably got a lot of awards or whatever there, but we're just saying in our own little way, we see you, we appreciate you for what you're doing. And as well, there's still a key as well.
Wow!
There's a key
That's
for
amazing.
you. So when you have that tea and coffee and watching the sun rise, from this angle, you'll be able to remember today. And
I
to be able
will.
to know, not just today, but to know that yes, you are making a difference. You are impacting lives positively. You are leaving a legacy of hope, of love, of peace, and more. So, see you.
Thank you, Mama Kay. I will always think of you when I drink from this cup. I really will. And I definitely won't leave it behind when I'm not here anymore. I'll take it with me.
It's yours. It's yours. It's the footprint. The footprint. But don't leave so soon. Please, I'm warning you. Because we're coming back and make sure there's sustainable, succession planning, you know,
Definitely.
as well. Because that is important in any
Yes,
organization.
it's very important.
But thank you so much. So, in closing, I want you to just give words of encouragement. You've already said a lot there. But I want you to give, you know, just any more words of encouragement, but directly now to our young people, to our women, or anyone you want to speak to, and I want you to do that directly to them.
So in this world of social media and all the heroes and people that we want to be, I want to encourage young people especially to be their authentic selves. Young people, you are, each one of you is unique, and that uniqueness must shine through you. You know, I have a friend who always says, be yourself, because everyone else is already taken. And I'm not trying to make fun of that, but really, don't try and be somebody that you're not. Don't listen to people who insist on you being somebody and having different values. Be self-assured. Know your space in this world. And that's the best advice that I can give. Be your authentic self.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know where else to go, but we're coming back. We will be back many, many, many times. We've already covered a lot of stories here, and well done to all the people who are supporting you. I need to give a shout out to Sister Dija, that I know personally, Marlene Jamison, and a lot of other people, even Lahik, you know, and a lot of people that, you know, that have gone through and or done work and you're still working with, you know, most of them. Thank you, you know, for that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all we've got time for, people on Impact Africa. Till next time, you've heard our young people, be yourself, be authentic, and to anyone as well anyway. But it just applies more to young people, like Marlene said, you know, in terms of this Gen Z era where, you know, it's about what is out there or pretense or what you're doing, you know, you live a different life behind the keyboard to what you know, have in there. Be yourself, because there are negatives, you know, to not being yourself, where it could become an issue, depression, you know, and so where you feel, you know, you're left. And yeah, if anybody needs to talk to anyone out there, there are a lot of organizations who are there to support, you know, coming even to Hope, Cape Town, you know, to volunteer, that's enough. You know, like we've been saying, they have an outdoor gym. I saw young people doing some exercise. They've got a wonderful cafe. They've got various things, and they're working more on a lot of projects that you guys will benefit from in one way or the other. And this is about you. We said there, it's not about being the future, you're now in the present. So, yes. Till next time, this is Dr. Mama Kisa. I now say, stay safe, stay blessed. Love you all.